Hello, hi, Jody here. I am terribly sorry about the lack of Season 2 stuff in March. I was very sick, so I had to push the order video back to April, but that should come out in a few weeks. The MVM video is still scheduled for May, and since I'm juggling both of them, I should be able to get it out then, because I finished my current uni semester later this month. So those two videos are still on track, but I just wanted to make this to sort of tide people over until those are done by talking about something relevant and trending. The Minecraft movie. That exists. It's a thing that people can watch, and I did last night. I did wait until today to sort of record so I could just, let my thoughts simmer. And I'm very much going off of no script. The only thing I have is a few notes that are at most 7 words each to sort of keep my thoughts on track and stop me from just going on weird side tangents. But for the most part, this is unscripted. These are my raw, unfiltered thoughts. So I'll just come out and say it. I actually quite liked it. I'm well aware that I wasn't in the target demographic of it, and I haven't been for at least 7 years, maybe 6, depending on how you look at it. But I still had a good time. It is an enjoyable movie. I will say it is not going to be up everyone's alley, especially since Minecraft is such a universal thing. I think it's the second best-selling PC game of all time, and maybe even the second best-selling game of all time if you include, every console version of it that's ever existed. So this wasn't going to be up everyone's alley. And while I do think that other Minecraft, story attempts did tell a better story, i.e. Minecraft Story Mode, even if it was quite rough, it is still an enjoyable movie. I did have a very fun 1 hour, 40 minutes. For a bit of personal history, I first heard of this movie when I was 9 years old via that news article announcing it. I think it was an interview with Notch, or maybe he posted it on Twitter, and I just found out through some YouTuber I was watching at the time. I didn't really keep up with it, but I did make sure to Google it every month or two to follow the very few updates we got until last year, when we got the 4chan leaks that were shared to Twitter by the other Jody, better known as GoMotion, whose videos you should go watch, as she's pretty cool. And while I did follow some of the discourse they included, I didn't really mind them. I thought the bee was cute, the sheep was also kinda cute. The hostile mobs were fine. The creeper I thought was kind of cute with its grassy look, and I totally get not being a fan of this look. I do think the film would have been better if it was animated from the get-go, so they could have still played within the Minecraft art style we know, except it looked about as off-brand as any corporate exec I would allow, and honestly, I didn't mind it past, the weird Uncanny Valley stuff. Hi, hello, audio change because I ended up seeing the movie a second time with a bunch of furries, don't ask, and I have some updated thoughts on the film's story. I just want to start off by acknowledging it's kind of hard to adapt a game that has no story, but it's very funny they did it in such a way it's already been written out of the quote-unquote Minecraft canon, something that Minecraft story mode didn't even get, which I think is pretty fucking funny. I did also notice that a fair chunk of it did seem, at least from my glance, to have been taken from the Dungeons/Legends spin-off series, but that might just come from the fact I really haven't kept up with Minecraft on a micro level since 2020, 2021, and hell, you're literally watching the first recording of me playing Legends because they gave me a copy on the Microsoft store through Twitch Prime, which was nice. That aside, the film just kind of starts with the funny Jack Black yearning for the mines clip, which was kind of this film's entire marketing. I found a lot of it was built around Jack Black just saying silly shit, which is fine. But they did kind of spoil a lot of them from just trailers and stuff. There were only two Jack Black saying funny things clips that weren't in trailers, so they didn't get the reactions that stuff like Chicken Jockey has gotten, which I will just say are very funny, but God, I feel bad for those theater employees. Jesus Christ. They are not having a good time. Speaking of Jack Black, I promise this section won't give him too much oxygen, but he very much was the star of the show. He gave it his goddamn all, and even if some of it was kind of cringe, it was very clear the guy was just having fun. The guy was clearly just hyped up and just having fun, and I can't help except respect that. The other actors were actually quite decent, although the main issue stems from their characters not really developing in like any way. They just sort of exist. The only one I think who really goes through any sort of development was Jason Momoa's character. He was there. He was okay. Danielle and Emma did really fucking well with like the very poor script that they were given. Also, I just feel like saying, if like Emma's stylist is watching this, please tell me the things you did to her hair. It looks brilliant, and I just need those bangs. Oh my god. Speaking of the two female characters, this is a criticism that might get me shot, but I really dislike how the film failed the Bechdel test as like hard as it did. And that sounds like a film nerd fucking critique, but I can't help but be disappointed. This is a spoiler section, by the way, so skip forward like 30 seconds as if you want to avoid them. But I can't help but be disappointed how the only thing they did was like build a house. And as someone who knows a ton of women who grew up playing, Minecraft, that probably hurt to see. And as someone who is trans femme, that did actually kind of hurt, and that was disappointing. And it really did damper the experience for myself and a few others, even if it was for the most part quite fun. Also, the villager dating side plot happened. That was a thing that existed. I don't have anything to really say that hasn't been said besides the memes of it are kind of funny and the Jeb cameo is cool. The one positive I do want to throw in before this section ends, the Technoblade cameo that has been posted everywhere, that was beautiful. I think that was done perfectly, and it makes me very happy to see someone who was so formative to the game's modern form be shouted out that way. And I think if Technodad somehow did not know about it, he would be proud of it. He would be very happy with it. The soundtrack was definitely the film's biggest strength, in my opinion. It was done by Mark Marbro, I think is how you say his name, of Devo. And while it did take some motifs from the pre-existing Minecraft soundtrack done by like C418, Rain, and the other guest composers, it definitely sits in its own lane, and it's really nice, and I can totally see myself listening to some of the more ambient tracks from it just in my own time. Also, I just want to quickly throw in that the Pigstep cameo was actually really, really cool. Hello, any fellow radical dreamers who may be watching this, y'all are cool as hell. There were also a ton of songs that Jack Black sung, and they were okay. The only thing I really associate with them now are those weird political ads that people are making here, because we have a federal election coming up soon, and for whatever reason, everyone has been using that Lava Chicken song in their ads, so it's kind of just taken me out every time I hear it, because all I picture is just a guy building a Minecraft house while some insane policy thing I barely understand is on screen. Outside of that, they are actually quite charming, and while I don't see myself listening to them outside of the context of like the film ever, they're still a good time, and it's very obvious that Black was just having fun. A thing I forgot to say during the actor section, but the Piglins were actually pretty good. They weren't great characters, but the actors were actually very good, and there were some jokes with them that did actually make me laugh. So they get a pass from me. Overall, the Minecraft movie was enjoyable, despite the fact I feel it was... I don't know how to describe this, but the phrase my friends have used is empty nostalgia. It feels as if it's trying to tug at your nostalgia strings and your childhood memories with this game if you're of my age, by just saying phrases from it and assuming you to get it. And while things like the music shout out and some of the smaller details were super neat, there were parts that just it kind of made the whole thing feel quite flat. So while I recommend the film if you have friends to go with, assuming those friends aren't the kinds of people to throw fucking popcorn and soda at you as soon as Jack Black says the funny line from Instagram, I think it's a good time, despite the fact I don't see myself going back and watching this movie again unless it's that leaked cut that had like the half-finished VFX and just that random PNG like halfway through I've heard about. I'm really excited to watch that at some point. I don't see myself watching it again in my own time, and I find that a bit disappointing. So yeah, so those are my unfiltered, for the most part, thoughts on the Minecraft movie. I am so sorry this video took so long to come out. My chronic illness has been a bitch since I first saw it earlier this month. Audio video is coming soon. That's fully written, fully recorded. I just have to do the audio and then edit it, and then it's done. Next month is going to be MVM because I quite like TF2 and I want to look at that mode, because while I've enjoyed it, I've never like gotten super into it until recently, and I have some people who are down to play with me, so be sure to look out for that soon. I actually do not know how to end this video because the entire thing was mostly built on the idea that this video would come out before TLOU 2's PC port. So I could just do a bit like, but I have something is important to do first, and then I just show me installing the game. But that's out, it's pretty good. So instead, I am going to smash cut to some text that talks about the first episode in like 3 sentences because I haven't seen it yet. So stay cool, take your meds, drink water. I'll see y'all in the order video, and future Jody, take it away with like your thoughts on the funny hyperfixation.